yeah, the WRX is officially ready.
Alright, so once again, following terrible format with no planning whatsoever and spur of the moment recording on my phone. Woot woot! So good news is today is new wheel and tire day. So I probably will have already announced it on social media at this point, but as some of you guys know, I was originally running in street mod with this car with big plans to supercharge and do a bunch of other stuff so I could hopefully hang with Jackie Ding and the frickin' Super K and all those other crazy fun cars. Once my own driver, because right now I'm the shortcoming thing. But I decided to go ahead and start with to try to keep things in budget, since I'm hoping to buy a house and do a bunch of other stuff. I decided to go ahead and move to the new ClubTR class. After talking to Ben, White Ben, whatever you want to call him, the Ben from Gears and Gasoline who drives the Civic, he actually wide-bodied his front end with a fiberglass kit. So basically, that was the one thing that was keeping me from going into ClubTR, was I thought that wasn't within the rule set. So that being said, like I said, this little buddy is going to ClubTR, and with ClubTR means that I get to run the Falken Oop, my finger's way out of frame there. The Falken RT660s, or Azenis RT660. Everyone knows that, everyone just calls them the RT660s. So the maximum tire size in this class is a 255, so that's what these are. These are 255 size tires, and with new fitment comes, well, like I said, since I still have some life left on the old Federals, they're on the car right now, I went ahead and I decided to get some new wheels. And because of the fact that I talked to some guys I know, some of you guys know him, his name's Devin. He's one of the guys at Professional Awesome, and he has an S2K. Hasn't been running in a while, but he's got a really cool S2K. And I ended up talking to him, and basically he recommended that I go ahead and try and maximize my track width for what I can, rather than worrying about scrub radius. So, that being said, the other little piece of advice that he gave me is that basically, if you're running a 255, the winning combination basically is a 255 tire on a 10-inch wheel. So you get a little bit of stretch. It's right at the end. Literally, it's the largest tire size, or largest wheel size that they recommend for 255 tire. So in order to get a different offset so that I could still maximize, pushing the wheels out further while running a thinner tire, so I picked up some of these bad boys. These are the Apex SM-10 wheels. They're really cool. They have their cool I-beam design. They are not a sponsor or anything like that. They're just a wheel that I found that worked with my wide body setup, because these are an 18x10 plus 40 offset. So these are 9.5 inch wheel with a plus 45 offset. So you can already see, that fitment was pretty mint. So basically what these will do is these will push the wheel out 5 millimeters, but I'm going to a 20 millimeter thinner tire, so that should pull the tires in a little bit, and it should still fit just right. The rear is going to be as unminty as it is now. You can still kind of see how my rear fitment has always been not perfect, but it works for the 275 square setup I'm running right now. So basically, I'm hoping that these wheels work out for me. Right now, I test fitted them. It seems like it's going to work out, but we won't know for sure until we put the tires on, or until I pony up and actually buy that cool little fitment tool where you can mock up tires before you put them on. So like I said, I'm getting these. By the way, also, for any of you guys who are ever buying these wheels, if you buy their valve stems, there's a weird little trick to them. So, hold on, let me switch my camera back over. Alright, so, basically, I gotta sit this down real quick. So, one thing that's really annoying, and this is all awkward to do with one hand, but, so, you'd think, oh, okay, it's easy. You just slide this bad boy on there, you tighten it down, and you're good. Well, the problem with that took me a little bit to figure out. Hold on. Put that bad boy in there. Whoop, tip the wheel. Stay there. Stay there. This is so awkward with one hand. There you go. Alright, so you go to tighten it, and after a few seconds, it stops. And you're like, oh, okay, so it must be tight. But it's still loose as heck. Well, If you actually read their website, which I did not at first, and I was getting ready to call them, and then I was like, you know what? Let me see if they put this information on there. Sure enough, there is a little like plastic washer on there that you're supposed to crush, and it acts kind of like a thread locker and make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. So basically, the extra annoying thing is you have to take, or at least what I did was, I took the little screws that come with it that are supposed to help you torque down your TPMS sensors, because I don't have TPMS sensors. So if I had them, I probably wouldn't have to do this. But since I don't, I just put this little screw on the back here, and since it's a little square head on the back, I tighten this down. So hold on, I'm gonna have to tighten that down. You're gonna have to deal with my awkwardness again. So I tighten it down almost all the way, and then I took a baby wrench, little 5mm wrench here, and then I shoved it on that bad boy, and it gave me enough leverage that I was able to torque this down. So, alright, sorry about that, fiance was calling me. So, gonna tighten this back down. So yeah, so basically I just put that on there, torque this down, it gets really tight, and then all of a sudden it gets loose again, which is obviously the scariest feeling ever when you're tightening a bolt normally, but that's totally normal, and that's how you get these to fit. So that was something I wasted 30 minutes on, but now I'm going to go ahead and go get these mounted at a friend's place. So that's it for that. Okay, so it is officially the next day. I went over to my buddy's place, got these wheels and tires mounted. So Shazam! Now, obviously, hold on, I'll get to a wider angle of that. Obviously, right now, honestly, God, obviously, whatever. Long story short is that this fitment actually ended up being a lot closer. Like, honestly, you can see the rear. I'll post up pictures. It's really hard to tell in videos and in pictures, but honestly, this fitment is really close to what I had with my old tires. Like, really to a point where, it's kind of obvious that Falken, they effing lied about their tire size. So obviously these are still narrower, but these are a lot closer to a 265 than a 255, in my opinion. Like, my 275s with plus 5 more offset in the front and 20 millimeters more tire is literally almost, actually technically poke out more than my current setup. Not by a dramatic amount. I really can't show you super well right now because obviously I keep flip-flop. Right now I've got, my cool painter's tape for style, but actually the reason why that's there is the same reason I did it last. I think I've got another video where I talked about it, but I did that. Basically, I'm just going to see if it rubs, and if it rubs, it'll show me how severely and where it's rubbing based upon where I put tire marks on the tape / where the tape gets torn up. So I'm basically going to go ahead and take it on its maiden voyage to see if I have any rubbing. Like I said, it's ever so slightly more. Like with my old setup, it fit perfectly. With this setup, it's slightly more, so hopefully that'll be even more perfect. But because if not, then I get to do a little bit of fender trimming to make this work. But we'll see. We will see. Alright, so some awesome good news. I just got back. Basically, there's a parking lot I go to and make myself look like a 12-year-old trying to do burnouts who sucks at it. Anywho, long story short is, I did my stupid little circles and there is absolutely no rubbing, so I took my fancy tape off. But yeah, so there's no rubbing anywhere, so it's super close. Like, again, I'll show you just how tight it is without the tape. From top down, you can see the wheels turn slightly, but you can see how this really is tight. So, yeah, it really, I think with another 2 or 3 millimeters, I would start rubbing and not have clearance. But it works, so this is going to be the new setup for running ClubTR this year. So again, just a little bit more detail because I only talked about them lightly, but these are the Apex SM-10s, which are technically a spec wheel for the Mustang, specifically I forget which year or what body type what drivetrain type, I suppose, Mustang. But these are technically Mustang wheels, but it's 5x114. The hub center bores are close enough that it's not going to give me weird balancing issues. And yeah, as a whole, they look pretty solid. Definitely, you'll always hear me talk about, I'm not a gigantic fan of black wheels, Obviously, I'm a big fan, the opposite of black wheels, but these are technically anthracite. So, you know, we're gonna let that pass a little bit. And honestly, I guess as a whole, it still goes with the aesthetic of the whole panda looking thing. So yeah, it's gonna be fun running ClubTR with proper tires. Like on paper, with how wide these tires run and with how much better the compound is, honestly, I will not be surprised if these have more grip than my 275, my poor little Federal. They're sitting over there crying because they know they're getting usurped. Yeah, they're everyone loves them so far that's run them. They have their fair share of issues that I've seen on some platforms, but either way, it's going to be the first time I will be running a real tire on this car, so I'm looking forward to Alpine. We'll see if we can pull off a few more tweaks and upgrades before Alpine, but there's a strong chance that this is mostly going to be how the car is going to be, so it'll be fun to see how we stack up against the rest of the ClubTR guys. You know, I'll only have the front downforce, no rear downforce. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, so we'll have to see how things go, but it's gonna be fun.